Good afternoon, students. We are going to today just taking our study about the sacred centers of the Vijayanagar Empire, choosing the capital as a capital city of the Vijayanagar Empire. And regarding that, we shall discuss today. Or students, before that, we have now discussed about the Mahanavami Dibba. Understand? So the Mahanavami Dibba was just a festival annually celebrated, and in a particular uh, uh, structures, a particular structure supposed to be the devoted for the celebrating the Mahanavami Deepa, or you have seen that how the king was involved in these festivals, which is even celebrated in the northern India as a Dashahara or the Ram Navami. As they say, the 9 sacred days or the 10 days or the Dashahara also, this festival is celebrated all over the northern India, or even in the southern India. We have in the Vijayanagar Empire, we have seen this is the celebrated Mahanavami Dibba, or still this is the doubtful that whether this celebrations this building was devoted to that or not. But the most of the historians agree to this opinion, agree on this opinion, or agree with this opinion that such kind of the celebrations was being done, and moreover the king was involved in the celebration, because it was these were the days of the gatherings of the common subjects, and where the king now, and moreover the king express his alignments with the divine body, with the divinity, or with the god and goddesses, to represent himself associated with the divine power, and to be the very close to the divine power. Understand? So the king say now wanted to express his authority by the construction of the huge buildings, by the participation in the occasions, festivals, or as well as kings always shown their association, close association, and even they wanted to incorporate or wanted to be the identical to these god and goddesses, to make their positions much more impressive and authoritative among the common mans. Understand? So now students, we can see here we are going to study about the choosing a capitals. No doubt now this Vijayanagar capital or the city is situated in the northern end of the city. If you see the whole city in the northern end, but we see that the end city on the banks of Tungabhadra, rocky northern end of the city. The rocky northern end of the city is the very rocky. Understand? Stones and the stony, and there and the end of the city on the banks of the Tungabhadra. Understand? And this city is situated on the banks of the Tungabhadra rivers that plays the very important role in the supply of the water to the Vijayanagar cities and the Vijayanagar Empire. Understand? Tungabhadra rivers now provided, and this the rivers had the very importance in the nourishing these empires. Understand? And richer according to the local, we now that how the Vijayanagar empires came under the rules or came under the existence now. The traditionally, if you see, according to the traditions, now the local tradition, it is said that now he says centered the monkey kingdom. This Vijayanagar empires in the ancient time was a monkey kingdom, and this kingdom was ruled by the Bali and Sugriv, two brothers. Later on, these brothers a crop से a feud, a crop between the a contest started between the two brothers. Understand? Bali and the Sugriv. Two brothers now just involved in the conflict, and ultimately one of the brother, understand, was the killed by the Ram. Understand? And that was the because of the they have the claim and the certain claims and the or illicit claims over the wives. Understand? So now this Bali and Sugriv involved. So ultimately, and now it is said that according to our ancient traditions, this is said that now this monkey kingdom helped Ram to discover the Sita when the Sita was abducted by the Ravan. Understand? Sita was abducted. So now these kingdoms, monkey kingdoms, understand, help Ram to discover, and as well as it is also said that these monkeys kingdoms, understand, army of these monkeys, now they help the Ram against the Ravan in the battlefield also. So that this make the Ram victory, make the victory over the Ravana. And this is the story about that, or this has been written down in Ramayana. You can go through that for the details study of the Bali and Sugriv mentioned. And another tradition of the Vijayanagar city is also there. Another traditions in the Vijayanagar city is that one story of the Pampa Devi. Understand? Pampa Devi, the one of the goddess of the Vijayanagar empire. Understand? Or she became a much fascistic inclined towards the Virupach. Understand? She much liked Virupach, and she was the fascinated and wanted to get the union or marriage or the union with the Virupaksha. Understand? Or now, so this for getting the Virupaksha, and Virupaksha was a form of Shiva. Virupaksha was a form of Shiva, Lord Shiva. Understand? So the Pampa Devi, understand, she now inclined or involved in the very hard penance and the meditation and observe the hard austerity. Understand? And now over this, understand, her austerity, understand, austerity and the hard penance, the Lord Shiva Virupaksh now became overpleased with her, and he now just agreed to having the marriage with her. Understand? And they got the marriage. Understand? And one, she now expressed the desires with that name of that temples and this city and the area should be in her name. Understand? So that name, the Pampa, understand, that name later on the corrupt name of the Hampi. Hampi name has been derived from the Pampa. Understand? As it's the corrupt corrupt name of that. So the Hampi, the Pampa, the Pampa Devi, this city now, that is why this city is also called as the Hampi. Understand? Hampi. So this Vijayanagar empire, the city of the Vijayanagar empire was merged, and now this did the penance and married the Virupaksh. Virupaksh was supposed to be the guardian of that city. Understand? He was the guardian, protector. So that's why the people revered him, and he was looked by the people as a protector. To this day, or on particular on the occasion, every day, every year, to this day, now the people celebrate the annually day in the marriage. Okay, Virupaksh temple. So that the particular the marriage day, is every year celebrated in the Virishpacha temples. Now this is the very grand festivals every year happens there, and people gather and celebrate their marriage day there. Understand? The marriage day. It is the celebrated very well and recognize the form of Shiva and marriage. Among these hills, the found the now one thing is that this southern India or the particularly the Deccan area has been the dwellings of the Buddhists and the Jains also. Now there were many religions. Buddhists and Jains were frequently moving and establishing their temples or their or getting the patron of from the different kings, Chalukya and Chola or or Kadams, Chalukya, Chola, Kadams, understand? And the other kings or the dynasties now gave the protections or the patron to these all religious sects or the religious groups. So the Jains had the also temple in the pre-Vijayanagar period. Although okay, the pre-Vijayanagar period, Jains had their temples there. Or now this area was associated with the several sacred traditions. So that is why this area was now this area, whole area was the associated with the several sacred traditions or the sacred sects. Understand? Or the sacred beliefs. This was the center of that. Okay, and moreover, this temple building in regions a long history. Now, one thing is that remember, now the kings temple building means the all the dynasties Sangam, Talwa, Shalwa, Aravidu, these all dynasties kings who ruled over the Vijayanagar Empire. Understand? They were much inclined towards the building the huge structure dedicated to the different god and goddesses. They now got constructed the huge buildings and dedicated, and moreover, they also installed their own portrait in the temples also. Understand why? Because they wanted to be the wanted to be the identical themselves to the gods, and to the a divine power. They wanted to incorporate, wanted to be the identical of the god and goddess and incorporate the divinity, spirituality that was resembling and the resembling to the god and goddesses. So this for making their authority the more impressive, much effective. Now they got the constructed the huge temples in there. All the Saluva dynasty, Talua dynasty, or the Aravidu or the Sangam, they all were the inclined in that state. Or moreover, a long history going back to the dynasties such as the Pallav. Now the Pallavs were also inclined or they involved in the making the huge construction. Chalukya's kings, dynasties, Chalukya kings also constructed Hoysala or the Cholas. Understand? Amongst them the Cholas were the very prominent. Many huge structure in the southern India. Understand? They got constructed. And these rulers encouraged the temple building as a means of associating themselves with the divine. Why I told that these kings were very much interested in the that construction. They wanted to assimilate themselves and wanted to themselves with associated with themselves with the divinity. Divine. Often deity was explicitly or explicitly identified with the king, and deities were now explicitly or inexplicitly identified with the king. Now the king now resembled themselves with the god and goddess. And I have already said, if they wanted to identify themselves with the god and goddesses, to make their position very impressive and make their position divine origin. Now the this was done by the god and goddesses by the kings. Temples function as the now one thing is that temples were not only the place of the religious festivals. No, it was much more than that. Temples were the education centers. The children studied there. Different kinds of subjects were taught within the campus of the temple, within the premises of the temples. There were schools, understand? Or it was the learning center. The scholars from the different parts of the country and the childrens and the students come and learned a lot within the campus of the temples and the learning. Or besides the ruler and the others often granted how the temples were upkept, how the temples were maintained, how the because these temples required the huge expenditures. Understand? So now the temples say in the temple, in the name of the temples, the kings used to allotted the large tracts of the many of the villages were given and dedicated. The revenue of the many villages were mint or for the upkeeping, the maintenance of the upkeeping of the temples. Understand? Now their expenditures from the income of those villages, the expenditures of these temples will be maintained. Understand? That's why the land grants were made in the name of the temples, whether by the kings, whether by the nayaks, whether by the lords. Understand? So this from these or moreover the donations, the charity by the rich and the wealthy traders and the wealthy guilds, they contributed the much in the upkeeping of these temples, and moreover other resources maintains the temples. Consequently, temples develop a significant, and now ultimately we can see that the temples begin to develop as a religious centers. The peoples of the different beliefs, they came there for the worshipping, and moreover from that religious temples functions as a religious centers and the social centers. Now many the families or the families and the social groups used to come there and celebrate there, and the main marriages used to be the happened in the premises of the temples, and negotiation or the for the marriages used to be the happened. Or apart from that, the music, cultural programs, music, dance, drama, understand, and the dance and drama used to be the happened. The music and the dance and the drama was also performed within the campus of the temples, and for the entertaining or amusing for the visitors there, okay, and the travelers. And moreover, the temples were also center of the economic center also. How? Because the temples also many of the guilds were maintained by the temples. Temples work as a bank. Temples had the large tracts of the land, and those from those incomes, understand, temples now work as a bank, provided the loans and the loans to the people for the establishing their trade and the commerce, enhancing their shops, trade and the commerce. These and as well as the many guilds were living within the temples, and guilds were the organization of the traders. They had their own rules and regulation. So the temples now work as a bank. People used to now deposit their surplus income in the temples bank. Understand? Temples bank. So itself a temple was a great and the big authorities. A big authority functioning the multi kinds of the work under the control of these temples. Okay, so now students, and from the point of view rulers constructed, now the rulers were very much inclined for the constructing the huge buildings and the constructing, repairing of the buildings, maintaining the temples were important means of the winning the support. So by the rulers were inclined or the engaged in the involved in the repairing, constructing of the temples or the repairing or maintaining the temples, because the temples were the main way, a way of the winning support and the recognitions for their power. Through the temples, they wanted the support of the common man, wanted to recognize their power, wealth, and the piety, power by the huge structure. And as the Mahanavi Dibba, the kings now displayed their power to the people. This huge structure and the donations given by the kings, these also showed the power. And moreover, the wealth that show the structure, shown the wealth of the king, and as well as the pity as compassion, and the pity also now shown by the kings. Now the donation, charity given, free food given to the poor in the temple's premises. Understand? And the welfare works were done by the temples. And these all donations were, and these all were supported by the kings. So the kings now wanted to win the support, and he was strongly aligned with the temples, and through the temples and through the religious life of the people, he captured and he commanded his authority and displayed his power to the people, and make the impact, deep impact in the heart and mind of his subjects. That is why the temples were the very important for the kings and the king's authority. Or it is likely that very choice of the site Vijayanagar was inspired existence of the shrines of the Virupaksh and the Pampa Devi. No, I have already mentioned the Vijayanagar empire, understand, or was the existence shrines inspired by the existence of this shrine. This empire now grew, or this area grew because how? Why grew? How this emerged? Inspired existence of the shrine of Virupaksh. There was a shrine of the Virupaksh. Virupaksh temple was there in the Vijayanagar. Understand? And the Pampa Devi temples, and they were much famous among the citizens or among the people of the Vijayanagar empire. Or actually, Virupaksh Vijayanagar kings claimed to the rule on the behalf of the god. One thing is that since the Virupaksh had the very dominant position in the hearts, and people blindly believe in the Virupaksh, so that's why the king invoked, the king incorporated that king, that incorporated or wanted to make himself as identical to the Virupaksh, wanted to make himself as effective or similar to the Virupaksh, because the people and the subject loved and liked the Virupaksh god there. And now, and all royal orders were, so that is why all the royal orders to make the room in the heart of the people, all royal orders, royal documents and the orders were now signed Sri Virupaksha, signed as the Sri Virupaksha by the king, stamped by the king, Sri Virupaksha. The kings used to the sign. So now the king wanted to make himself and represent himself as a Virupaksha god, because the people had the much affection and the much inclinations toward the Virupaksha. And moreover, usually these documents, these royal orders were issued in a Kannada language. Kannada script. It was the ruler also indicate their close link with the gods, and they also express the rulers always they were trying to express their close link by using the title Suratrana. Hindu Suratrana. Suratrana means this is the actual word of the Sultana. Sultans. Understand? Sultans, the Suratrana, they now that began to assume the title as Suratrana. This was the Sanskritization of the Arabic term Sultan. This is Sanskritization. Suratrana was the Sanskritization of the Arabic term of Sultan. Means the Arabic term now had the impact upon the Sanskritized. Sanskrit, it was the Sanskritized term of the Sultan. Now we can see that how the even the words were had the impact or intermixing or assimilation between the two states, the Sultan states or the Vijayanagar Hindu states, having the assimilation. This was a Sanskritization, more meaning the king, Sultan we know, and it is literally mean the Hindu Sultan, or this Suratrana means the Hindu Sultan. Okay, like the Muslim Sultan for Muslims, or even as the drew the earlier tradition, the rulers of Vijayanagar innovated, developed these, understand, royal portraits. A sculpture was now displayed in the temples. Moreover, these kings now began to God constructed their portrait. Their own portrait are installed in the shrines of the god and goddesses. Beside that, shrines of the and beside the sculpture, beside the a statue of the god and goddesses, the kings say a statue began to be the shrined in the temples, or the king's visits to the temples were treated, and now as the kings sometimes visited these temples, so this occasion was supposed to be the much important, very much important, or the very much significant, and occasion on which he was and on the particular day and the particular occasion, the king used to move and they used to go with his very effective and powerful nayaks, very powerful nayaks, along with the accompanied by the powerful nayaks of his empire, very important nayaks of the empire. Understand? Accompanied him, escorted him whenever he he was on out for the to visit these temples. Understand? So now the king, from the all side, what we see and observe by our study, that the kings were much inclined. These temples were more than these were the politicalized. These had the political significance rather than religious significance. The king wanted to make his hold through the religion, and that is why he wanted to make his position as a god, as a goddesses before their subjects, before his or her subjects. So this tendency we see that the temples had the political importance, social importance, economic importance, or cultural importance, or religious importance. This was the hub of the all walk of the life. Temples now controlled, understand, and the whole life of the people revolved around the temples. Their political life, their social or economic, okay, and the cultural. So we can see that how these temples we have seen that how these temples play the important role in the Vijayanagar Empire. You can understand well, na? I suppose that students you may have understand, or you have the well perception, well very carefully you study, or every words you know the meaning of that, okay, and make yourself clear. And moreover, gopurams and the mandap. The next topic we shall begin or start from next class. That is the gopurams and the mandaps. A temple architectural style we shall study. Understand? So I suppose that today time is about to up. Understand? Or thank you very much for attending. You are very sincerely attending the class. I know well you how much you are very sincere, okay, and attend. Thank you very much.